We have to return to Quran because just when I got to the really, I don't want to say the good part, but trying to explain this misunderstood ayah, they just cut it right out. Well, I'm back. I'm back with the Quran, page 10, starting right off with this controversial ayah. Make dua that they don't cut me off again, because they ought to know by now that I don't give up, so I'm going to continue. However many times you want to play around, I'm back. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الذين آمنوا والذين هادوا ونصارى والصابئين من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر وعمل صالحا فلهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. This is a very controversial ayah in the Quran, because at first glance you might think that everybody's okay. You know, the Jews and the Christians and all of the others that are described here, they just have to believe in Allah and the judgment day and do good deeds, and then they will have their reward with their Lord, and they will have no fear and no sadness. But wait, this needs qualification, because that was before Prophet Muhammad came with the last revelation and the message. So for everybody now, you have to believe in Allah, yes, but you have to know what Allah means. Because Allah means, Laisa kamithli shay. There's nothing like Him. He has no helpers, even if it's the Blessed Virgin Mary, or all the saints in heaven, or all the worldly powers. Allah doesn't need that. Allah is self-sufficient, self-contained. He is a samad. He really can do it all, and doesn't need anyone else's permission or agreement. So you have to understand the meaning of the word Allah, and I have done lessons on this. But we want to make it perfectly clear now that this does not mean that after the message has been circulated, as it is now, that you're going to be okay believing that Jesus is God and, you believe in all the prophets. No, you don't. You know, the YAHUD of the Banu Israel don't believe in prophets properly because they misrepresent them in many ways. وَإِذْ أَخَذْنَا مِيثَاقَكُمْ وَرَفَعْنَا فَوْقَكُمُ الطُّورَ خُذُوا مَا آتَيْنَاكُمْ بِقُوَّةٍ وَاذْكُرُوا مَا فِيهِ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Allah says when He raised above them the mountain, and it was a sign to them to take His words with power and remember what are in His words, so that you will be pious. ثُمَّ تَوَلَيْتُم مِّن بَعْدِ ذَلِكَ فَلَوْلَا فَضْلُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ وَرَحْمَتُهُ لَكُنتُم مِّنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. Allah says then you turned back, you turned away after that. And if it were not for Allah's favor upon you and His mercy, you would really be among the losers. وَلَقَدْ عَلِمْتُمَ الَّذِينَ اعْتَدَوْا مِنكُمْ فِي السَّبْتِ فَقُلْنَا لَهُمْ كُونُوا قِرَدَةً خَاسِئِينَ. Allah says He knows what you used to do on the Sept when you went fishing when you weren't supposed to. So we said, كُونُوا قِرَدَةً خَاسِئِينَ. Be as monkeys. Monkey see, monkey do. You know, this verse does have a lot of tafsir and differing. Many scholars say the pigs and monkeys story, as you know, kunu qiradatan khasiin, means they literally were changed into apes. Now, could that be Darwin's theory, that some of our ancestors were apes? I'm telling you, the ulama differ on this. But I wouldn't say it's impossible. Or is it just they're like qirda? They copy things. They set trends and then they follow whatever, the latest trend. I don't want to say I know exactly what Allah means by this, but His letters are clear. And if you read the tafsir, you have to go do this for yourself, okay? Like I did. Then will you still be confused? Well, partially. Oh, may Allah enlighten me about this verse, because this is really... Why are the monkeys and the apes so human-like? Why do they actually express emotions almost like we do? When you go to the zoo, you're amazed, right? فجعلناها نكالا لما بين يديها وما خلفها وموعظة للمتقين. Allah says He sets this forth as a lesson, a form of an explanation to you by what you have, and He's speaking to the Banu Israel. And it's a warning to those of them who are pious. وَإِذْ قَالَ مُوسَى لِقَوْمِهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَأْمُرُكُمْ أَن تَذْبَحُوا بَقَرَةً. Allah orders you to kill a cow. قَالُوا وَتَتَّخِذُنَا هُزُوًا. And they said, are you joking? Are you joking with us? قَالَ أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ أَنْ أَكُونَ مِنَ الْجَاهِلِينَ. You say, no, we would never be ignorant and act in that way. قَالُوا وَادْعُ لَنَا رَبَّكَ يُبَيِّنْ لَنَا مَا هِيَ. So they're saying to their prophet Musa, well, could you please clarify more about this? قَالَ إِنَّهُ يَقُولُ إِنَّهَا بَقَرَةٌ لَا فَارِدٌ وَلَا بِقْرٌ أَوَانٌ بَيْنَ ذَلِكَ فَأَفْعَلُ مَا تُؤْمَرُونَ. Once again, they begin to actually try to disengage from the order of Allah that was clearly given to them by Musa. We don't exactly understand what kind of cow you're talking about. Like, we don't understand how old it is. We don't understand what type it is. And then Musa said, أَفَلُوا مَا تُؤْمَرُونَ. Just do what you've been ordered to do. قَالُوا وَادْعُ لَنَا رَبَّكَ يُبَيِّنْ لَنَا مَا لَوْنُهَا. Here, it's the thing about what color is it? قَالَ إِنَّهُ يَقُولُ إِنَّهَا بَقَرَةٌ صَفْرَاء. The answer is, it's a yellowish-looking cow. A yellowish-looking cow. Now they say their special cow is a red cow. فَاقِيٌ لَوْنُهَا تُسِرُّ النَّاظِرِينَ. It's very brightly colored, and it will attract the attention of those who see it. So the point of these last few verses are, when the prophets, messengers, come to them with clear orders from Allah. This is not just anyone telling them what to do. This is Musa. And he's not telling them to do something impossible. He's telling them to kill the cow. And he's explaining what type of cow. I mean, I could go on to the next page where they continue to argue and pretend that they don't know what he's talking about. I'm going to save that for the next lesson. But let's pause now at the subject of cow. What's with the Hindus that worship the cow? Could they be described as Yahud? Because they refuse to kill cows. Not only that, they worship cows. They decorate them in garlands and jewelry. I find a parallel here. Now, I don't know if you'll find that from shuyukh who are native Arabic speakers. No, you won't. However, I can't help but wonder where that kind of defiant disobedience comes from. Now, they tell you the Hindu religion is very ancient. No, it's not. No, it's a very new story. And it's closely related to Buddhism. So now, if you think about it, what do these Hindus do? I think that deserves a special lesson. Because we are not supposed to criticize or belittle their religion. No, but we can clarify. So this whole thing about you're not supposed to talk about that because then if you make fun of their religion, they'll make fun of yours. You shouldn't smash their idols. No, I didn't say smash idols. I didn't say I'm making fun of their religion. I'm telling you about the religion. They made us study this when we were in elementary and junior high school. Like it was, yeah, oh, well, that's them and that's them. No. They used to burn the widows on the same funeral pyre that they would burn their dead bodies. Cremation, in other words, but she was alive. So she was considered not useful anymore. Her husband's dead. husband worship. There's a lot of that around all cultures. So they would kill her while she was alive. They say they don't do it anymore. But are they respecting her? You know, there's rape just so prevalent in that culture. So, you know, instead of killing the cow, they decorate the cow. They have holidays around the cow. And as far as women go, those Indian women, they're so beautiful. I really consider them probably, you know, what we see on YouTube and whatever, Bollywood movies, and oh my goodness, they are probably some of the most beautiful women as a whole that I've ever seen. And so are they respected once they get married in their big ceremonies, as we witnessed last month, a gigantic, I think it was 9 million or whatever they spent on this ceremony, and the wife was, you know, probably pushing 60, but she was absolutely gorgeous and showing off all her jewels, you know, worth multi-millions, you know, different costume changes throughout the 3-day wedding, and mainly millionaires attended. But this is the same country that literally has beggars groveling. The majority of the country is beggars groveling. So don't be deceived by Bollywood and all this beauty and fashion, because women there gain little respect. So now I'll close by saying one of the reasons Pakistan was made was because at that time, 150 years ago, there was a problem. There was no Pakistan. They were all part of India. The Muslims lived in India. However, when the Indian women started marrying the Muslim men away from their family traditions, it was a major problem, because they found the Muslim men more attractive, and they became Muslim. And what happened then was, because I studied this in a lot of history books, the British government went crazy, and they took the children from this union and forced them to be transported back to England. And that marriage was null and void. I mean, it might as well have been a forced divorce, because if you dared, and both parties agreed to this, you know, the British and the Indians, who were the majority in the country, the Muslims weren't the majority at that point in time, to prevent a mother from raising her child in a mixed marriage such as this. So whatever excuse they gave, I believe the truth was, let's cut out these people right now from what is known as the heart of the Indian heartland, and let's make them their own place to live, so we can purify the Hindu land from the scourge, not only of the Aqidah, but of the Muslim men, who often attract, well, it's going on now, you know, it's going on now all over the world, and it's going on big time in America, that Muslim women, former Christians, are marrying Muslim men, and many of them are converting for that reason, and many of them just converted on their own, like I did, but they're going to face real backlash, because the ancestors they just go crazy when you don't follow them. And curiously, my brother Sajid is doing a wonderful lesson today that I said, oh, Allah is joining the hearts. He really is, because he's doing a lesson today about leaving the ways of your ancestors. And that was one of the initial parts of Aqidah I learned when I was a new Muslim from my great Sheikh Ismail from Ghana. And he got it from the Kitab al-Tawheed, which was written by Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, a true Muslim, not a so-called Wahhabi deviant. And that book is just beautiful, and it tells you that the origin of all this shirk and kufr was following the ways of your ancestors or not. So if you put grave worship in there, that's one of the ways they get you to follow. You go to the grave, you think about your ancestors, you want to know more, you pray, which you're not supposed to pray at graves, as you know. Anyway, we're up to 15 minutes. I have to stop. But inshallah, you're enjoying these little asides that are a bit different from your average tafsir. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.